फ्लैशबैक वीडियो नंबर 1 जहां पे हम हर 5 मिनट में आपके लिए टॉपिक को ऐसे रेडी करके देंगे ताकि आपका रिवीजन बहुत अच्छे से हो एंड इट हेल्प्स यू टू रिवाइज द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स एंड पॉइंटर्स फॉर द एग्जाम्स. Not only that, but we are going to ensure that you score better marks in NEET because we are going to cover every single important point that is a part of that topic. और आज का टॉपिक है हमारा बायोलॉजिकल क्लासिफिकेशन. बात करते हैं हमारे टॉपिक की, वो है 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन. एंड इफ यू रिकॉल, द साइंटिस्ट हु एक्चुअली डिड द जॉब फॉर अस was Robert H. Whittaker, who divided the living world into 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. What were the characteristics that Robert H. Whittaker actually considered in order to divide the living world into 5 kingdoms? Let's have a look at them. Type of cell, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, and mode of nutrition. Let's have a look at each one of them. Monera. The organisms present in Monera kingdom are all prokaryotic because इनके पास well defined nucleus नहीं होता है, ना ही nuclear membrane होता है, neither do have any cell organelles. But in all the organisms beyond Protista, यानी in Protist, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia, all the organisms have eukaryotic cells, that is, the cells have well defined nucleus and properly distinguished cell organelles. मोनेरा किंगडम डज हैव अ सेल वॉल विच इज नॉन सेल्यूलोजिक, मतलब इनके सेल वॉल में सेल्यूलोज नहीं होता है. इन प्रोटिस्टा some organisms do have cell wall, some do not. In fungi, the cell wall is present and the cell wall is rich in a substance called chitin. Plantae, we all are familiar that all plant cells have cell wall and the cell walls are rich in cellulose. Whereas animal, all the animals are devoid of cell wall, इनके cells में cell wall नहीं होता है. Nuclear membrane. As we all know that monoreal organisms are prokaryotic, that is why they don't have well defined nucleus and hence nuclear membrane is absent, whereas all the organisms beyond Protista, that is protist, fungi, plantae and animal, all of them will be having a nuclear membrane. Body organization, as far as Monera is concerned, all the organisms are single celled and hence their organization is cellular. इनके अंदर टिश्यू या ऑर्गन सिस्टम आपको देखने मिलेगा नहीं. Even in Protista, all the organisms mostly are unicellular. And even if they are multicellular, each cell can function on its own and hence they are cellular organization. Fungi and onwards, you will find multicellular organization, whereas in plant you can see tissue and organ system, and in animals you will see higher grade differentiation, that is tissue, organ और organ system, तीनों आपको देखने मिलेंगे. Mode of nutrition. As far as Monera is concerned, you will get to see autotrophic, that is chemosynthetic and photosynthetic organisms, as well as heterotrophic, because many bacteria do depend on host cells for their food. In protist as well, you will get to see autotrophic photosynthetic organisms as well as heterotrophic organisms. In fungi, all the fungal cells are heterotrophic, that is, they will be either parasitic or saprophytic. Plantae are organisms which are autotrophic, means all of them can actually prepare their own food, and animals are purely heterotrophic, that is, either they will be saprophytic or holozoic. Holozoic mode of nutrition means they can take whole food through an opening called mouth or buccal cavity. Next, 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन का कुछ जस्टिफिकेशन भी है जो बहुत जरूरी है जानना. प्रोकैरियोट्स वर सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम प्लांट्स इनटू एन इंडिपेंडेंट किंगडम. तो 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन की सबसे पहली खासियत क्या थी? दैट प्रोकैरियोट्स वर गिवन अ सेपरेट किंगडम अदर देन प्लांट्स. Monera is fully justified because they differ in morphological and physiological organization from other organisms. Elevation of fungi to the rank of a separate kingdom is justified, unlike their previous placement in plant kingdom. 2 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन में फंगस को प्लांट किंगडम में प्लेस किया गया था, whereas 5 किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन justifies that fungus should be given a separate kingdom, which it has been given, and hence it gives them a proper distinguished characteristic feature. Plant and animal kingdom are more homogeneous groups than they were in the earlier 2 kingdom classification system, because now both of them are separated on basis of phylogenetic lineage. 5 kingdom classification system is more phylogenetically reasonable because it indicates the gradual evolution of early organisms. So 5 kingdom classification को depend किया गया है phylogenetic reasoning पे, that is their ancestral lineage has been well justified, and that is why it gives you more authenticity when you divide organisms on the basis of 5 kingdom classification. But if you talk about drawbacks of 5 kingdom classification, yes, Five kingdom classification definitely is the most successful model of classification, but there are some drawbacks still. जैसे कि kingdom Monera and Protista are still heterogeneous groups as both of them include photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms with and without cell wall. किंगडम मोनेरा और प्रोटिस्टा दोनों ही ग्रुप्स में आपको फोटोसिंथेटिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स एंड नॉन फोटोसिंथेटिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स विथ एंड विदाउट सेल वॉल देखने मिलते हैं, विच स्लाइटली क्रिएट्स सम कंफ्यूजन. Phylogenetic relation of low organisms are not fully reflected. For example, green algae and some photosynthetic bacteria get hydrogen from sources other than water, but all of them are assigned to other kingdoms. Many different Protestant lines gave rise to multicellular groups, and none of the three higher kingdoms contain the single ancestors. Thus, each kingdom is polyphyletic. Polyphyletic का मतलब क्या है कि एक ऐसा ऑर्गेनिज्म जिसके एक से ज़्यादा एंसेस्टर्स हो सकते हैं, and that is why it can create confusion. Unicellular green algae like Chlamydomonas and volvox have not been included in the kingdom Protista due to their resemblance with other green algae in structure, reproduction and life cycle patterns. And the last but not the least, slime molds are slightly different from other protists with which they have been combined. कि प्रोटिस्ट ग्रुप में स्लाइम मोल्ड्स को रखा गया है, लेकिन स्लाइम मोल्ड्स हैव कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स व्हिच आर स्लाइटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर प्रोटिस्ट, so that might create a confusion. So these are some of the drawbacks of five kingdom classification.